despite mitigating circumstances such as those, the law is the law. And if I would sit down and consider amnesty for such persons, I would have to be acquainted with their personal records. I don't wish to stand here and say that I would give a blanket amnesty or anything, because I have to see what they've done. And without that in front of me, I can't make a decision on that.
Do you have a follow-up? I mean, to that sentence? Okay, very good. Rebuttal.
I too agree that the law is the law. If you're in prison, you have committed a crime, and you will serve your time in jail. That being said, I do not plan on offering amnesty to illegal immigrants in America. I voted against the DREAM Act because of parts of it that would allow illegal immigrants and non-citizens into the military, and that is simply unacceptable. I am alternatively preparing legislation which I call the Naturalization Act. There will be a militarization of the border with Mexico, and we need to stop the inflow of illegal immigrants. For the illegals that are already here, we are going to offer a one-chance period for them to declare themselves. And at that point, they will be given what I will call probationary citizenship. They will be given 5 years citizenship under constraints that they have steady employment, that they pay all taxes that Americans pay, and that they aren't involved in such crimes or illegal activity. At the end of that period, they will gain full citizenship, which will extend to their children under the age of 18.
Thank you. Time is up. As well? Maybe as well. Professor Lichman. Nigel.
Nigel apparently has left the building, as you can see by his question. In the next couple of months, next few months, the Supreme Court is very likely to take two long-standing remedies on race relations: affirmative action and the pre-clearance provisions of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And there's an excellent chance the Supreme Court in the next few months is going to now declare both of those things to be unconstitutional, as if to say that America's racial problems have been solved. Do you believe that America's racial problems have been solved? And if not, what should we do to fix them?
I believe that America has made a lot of progress with race relations. We're seeing more equality in the workforce, more equality in education, but there is still much left to be done. We find inner city schools are underfunded as compared to predominantly white suburban schools. We see applicants for jobs being discriminated against, whether we know about it or not. It is still going on. So I believe the race problem is still there. It is improving, and I think we still need to be able to improve education. Because if you talk to children in this country, they don't see race. They see, I can play with that kid on the monkey bars, we can hang out. And it's not until you get older that you start to realize we're a little different, but it's because society tells us that we're different.
And may I ask a follow-up?
Yes, we do have time.
If the Supreme Court, if the Supreme Court were to say that affirmative action is now unconstitutional, would you support that decision?
I would absolutely 100% support it. I believe candidates for jobs should be selected on their merit, on their education, and on their accomplishments. And as we move towards racial equality, that more diverse candidates will be well qualified for their positions.
Very good. Rebuttal.
When it comes to issues like affirmative action, it's truly it is monumental to see the progress that we've made, but there's still progress to be made. We have not reached the post-racial era yet. And I feel that in all of its flaws, the legislation for affirmative action has indeed helped our minorities get integrated with the workplace. I would be very hesitant to support anything that allowed the discrimination that we once saw be once again legalized, essentially, by the repeal of affirmative action. Now, what I do agree with my opponent is that education is the key. It will not solve the issues now faced by the adults in the workplace now, but perhaps for the next generation it can solve it. Increased funding, increased support from both state and federal governments, I believe, can truly help in this regard.
Time's up. Very good. The next question, Dr. Ruff.
Mr. Rogoski, when you're up first. Right now, 14% of active duty and 18% of National Guard personnel are female. These women face some unique challenges when they leave service. Could you talk about how you plan to implement the Department of Veterans Affairs 2012 recommendations regarding these veterans?
I believe what I've always believed when it comes to women's affairs, and really most affairs, that if there's an inequality, it should be fixed. If what we need is a comprehensive restructuring of organizations that give aid, like the Veterans Affairs Office, that makes sure that a woman soldier is treated no differently than a male soldier. And I just think that is the core that we need to get at in every layer of our government, of every layer of our society. That once we start treating people too differently, then it's absolutely meaningless. And so I would say to the women veterans that I will pledge to take care of them as well as any other soldier in the military.
Roberto.
I disagree with a broad generalization of veterans. Men and women are different. They have different needs. If we make a comprehensive plan that covers all veterans regardless of sex, women might miss out on some special care needs that they have. They have different medical needs, they have different family responsibilities, and I believe that the Veterans Affairs should form a female panel that can work in conjunction with the already in place panel deciding these things to make sure that women do get the specialized care that they need while also getting the comprehensive care that all veterans deserve.
Very good. Professor Senegali.
Yes. Sometimes in the fray of all these policy questions and positions that we have to take, we lose sight of more core questions. Tell us, what do you think the role of government is in our society today? And give one example of what government should be doing and does well, and one where it should not be taking the lead role.
The government's job is to provide for the prosperity of Americans, and it has to have a limited role. I'm going to start by answering